Yes, people. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be predicting the Club World Cup knockouts. The groups are done. It's now down to the knockouts. This, in my opinion, is where I feel like the competition may have a lot more eyes because it's going to get a lot more competitive. You actually are going to see more competitive games because teams are like, yo, we're in the knockouts now. We're not playing no more teams that we know we're going to comfortably beat, like your Bayern Munich versus your Auckland Cities, for example. So yeah, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the knockout predictions. Who do I see winning the competition? Let's dive into it, people. No messing about. So the first game is Palmeiras versus Botafogo. I actually think Botafogo are going to win this. I'm going Botafogo. Next up, Benfica Chelsea. Benfica have been decent in this tournament. They did beat Bayern Munich, I believe, and Chelsea have had a really comfortable tournament again as well. They won 2 out of their 3, lost 1 game. I do think Chelsea will go through. Next up is Inter versus Fluminense. Inter Milan, very much comfortably. This, for one, is the best one of the tie. Man City, Al Hilal. Al Hilal have been decent in this tournament, picked up a draw and a win and a loss, I believe. No, it was 2 draws and a win. So they're actually unbeaten in this tournament. And Manchester City have played, again, brilliantly. They've not really had to break a sweat in this competition so far. They absolutely dismantled Juventus with ease. If Al Hilal can turn up like they did against Real Madrid, they could possibly have a chance. But I think Manchester City, this is where the squad's going to be more gelled up together. Cherki's going to be having more minutes under his belt. Rodri's had more minutes under his belt. Do you know what I mean? I'm going, unfortunately, Manchester City to win. PSG into Miami. This game's a juicy one. Messi against his old club. You know, this is either a really good game or PSG absolutely just slap them. And I unfortunately think PSG will slap them 4-0. So yeah, next up is Flamengo versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, I think they've been, in the games I've watched them and bits I've seen, they've not been great. But they should have enough to beat Flamengo. Simple as that. Dortmund versus Montenegro. Dortmund will win this. And then the next one is Real Madrid, Juventus. Real Madrid have not been great in this tournament, although they have won 2 comfortable matches. Draw against Al Hilal. They've been okay. I do think they will see past Juventus. Next up in the quarterfinals is Botafogo versus Chelsea. Chelsea will win that. Inter Miami versus Man City, the rematch. They met a couple of years ago in the Champions League final. This is kind of like Inter Milan's like redemption after getting absolutely slapped against PSG in the final. I just think Man City are going to be too good. I really, really do. And you're going to see why my predictions later in the show. Manchester City will go through. Again, they're just pound for pound better than Inter Milan. Next up is PSG Bayern. Again, these teams faced in a Champions League final not about 5 years ago. It seems like the next 3 games are all Champions League finals from the past. But yeah, PSG versus Bayern Munich. I think PSG are going to box them off the park. Dortmund versus Real Madrid, the rematch again. Dortmund should have won that Champions League final if they actually took their opportunity. So they should have been 4 or 5-0 per half time, but they didn't. Real Madrid came back. Dortmund, although this is actually Jude Bellingham versus his brother, so that could actually be interesting. Funny enough, brother versus brother in midfield. That'll actually be really competitive and intriguing to watch. But I do think they're going to start tuning up Real Madrid, and Xabi Alonso's getting more comfortable under his belt. They will see past Borussia Dortmund. The semi-finals, Chelsea, Manchester City, and PSG Madrid. I am going Manchester City to reach the final. Again, I just think Manchester City are a better team than Chelsea. Throughout this whole tournament, they've had a better season than Chelsea. in this tournament. Say they've had injuries and stuff like that. And Manchester City, for me now, they just look a fresher breath air in the way they're playing football, and you can only beat what's in front of you. And Cherky and the man are starting to really gel into the team. Rodri, he had a stinker his second match, but third match, I thought he was really tuning back up again. And Man City's depth is actually looking frightening, to say the least. But Manchester City to reach the Club World Cup final. Mbappe versus his old club. There's a lot of storylines in this competition. That's why I think it's intriguing, it's exciting. PSG versus Real Madrid. Oh, and Mbappe will be back because he is back from obviously that little injury picked up. I think if PSG are at their best, I think they beat Real Madrid. I can't lie. The way that PSG play football, man, the way they're able to keep the ball. The only thing that Real Madrid do have is they do have killers up front in your Vinny's, your Rodriguez, your Mbappe's, Bellingham that can step up at big moments as well. I do think Madrid would have to be brilliant in this game because PSG, they're just so good. And I think now they've had a couple of games of basically just getting by in the competition. They've had games of rest. I think they're going to tune up and get to the final. It's going to be a Manchester City PSG final. Who do I see winning it? I'm going to go PSG, guys. My reasoning is because they're the best team in the world right now. There's no team that is better than Paris Saint-Germain on this planet in current of time. Doesn't matter who's been better in the competition because PSG started slow in the Champions League, right? PSG started very slow in the Champions League. And what happened? They got to the knockouts, pressure's on, tuned up, slapped it, and they've been there in the biggest moments, so this won't not phase them. I do think PSG will win it. I think it could be a really good final, Man City PSG as well. We have got some really interesting games for the knockouts, which is why I think it's going to make this competition a lot more exciting, in my opinion. I'm intrigued for it. We are going to be doing live watch-alongs for it as well, leading up to the final. So make sure you stay tuned and you are subscribing to that as well. And yeah, I'm going with Paris Saint-Germain to win the Club World Cup. I said it from the start. I'm going to stick with my prediction because there's no point changing the prediction. But yeah, Paris Saint-Germain to win the Club World Cup. People, make sure you are subscribing and you are smashing a like on the channel as we're on that road to 2,000 subscribers. I believe we're now 330 away. So let's keep trying to tune up against that. Big up, everyone. Thank you so much all for watching. Take care.